Hello everyone, thank you for viewing the HTML5 tutorial on the address tag today. That's what we're going to be reviewing. Once again, this is Carlos from devprocb.com. Essentially, the address tag is going to be used for addressing or essentially taking ownership of either a document or an article, depending on how you put it in to the coding itself. Since we haven't discussed articles yet in tutorials, we're not going to go ahead and cover it, but it's essentially the same thing. You're just telling, let's say, for example, a search engine that the addressor of this article or document is represented with this information. So the address tag is actually not for addresses, which many people will go ahead and mistake. So the address tag is to address information associated to someone specifically. The other nifty feature about it is, now this is only an HTML5 tag, so it won't render the same if you use HTML4 or below. So essentially what we'll go ahead and do is show you what the address tag will go ahead and do. So let's go ahead and just start that up. So it'll be address, okay, and then we'll close that. Now, in the beginning, one of the first videos I stated is that we're going to be doing kind of like a strict format. We're kind of going to break that here. You can still use it, just because it'll create a double space in the tag. So depending on how you like the view of it, you can create double breaks when we get ahead and start adding the information. But for now, just to kind of represent the information the way that it's supposed to be intended, which will be, validated through the W3C tool. If you validate the HTML tag, anytime you run it through the W3C tool, it will validate with errors, essentially stating that your document is not validated correctly if you have the end tags associated to it on the BR. So we're going to go ahead and address this particular tutorial the way that it was intended to be written by the W3C. So for example, let's say the article that we're writing is written by me, right? So written by Carlos B, right? And then we'll do a break. And then let's say we do website dev pro cb, another break. Whoops. Okay, and then we can put an address. So we'll go ahead and put an address. So we say 123 Candy Lane, New York, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we'll do another break, and then we're done. Right, so this is essentially what it is. All the address tag is doing is lumping data that's associated to this particular information. So it's not really going to be necessary for building the site. But what you're doing with HTML5 and what it's doing, especially for the search engine optimization portion of it, is it's lumping this data, which makes it much easier for the search engines to index specific information. So when they go to crawl your document, it can now pull the address tag with any of the information relevant to it and load that up through a search result as well. So if there are any advanced people that are out there, you may want to get and start, creating your own search engine using the HTML5 tags, because essentially what's going to end up happening is you're going to have quite a bit of data with sites that are converting over HTML to 5. But let's go ahead and render this on the main page. And you see, especially with the HTML5, when we declared it up here in the main document, what it does is anytime you put anything in the address tag, it automatically italicizes the information. So to go ahead and represent that, we'll go ahead and delete the address tag. We'll save that. And you can see how it changed. It's no longer italic. It's the standard text because it's represented like in a body. So we put those back, and the engine will automatically italicize this information, representing that this is contact information, or that's how most people will use this tag, but it'll be used wrong. It's actually the ownership, who owns this particular document or who wrote the document, I guess would be the best way to put it, or the article itself. So you may not own the entire document, but you may own the article. You may be the person that wrote the article. So this may be like if we replace this with like an image, you would go ahead and put an image of you here, and it can go ahead and pull that information as well. So this is really just to lump your addressing information into one section. A lot of times this will probably be put into like the footer of the website itself, or you can go ahead and put this kind of like float it to the left or to the right of a actual article that you're writing. This is a fairly simple tag. There's not much else to it. Just want to get and demonstrate this is essentially how you address people within the HTML5 system. Now, just so that we go ahead and make sure we're clear, this is not the address tag. This is an address tag. So this should be used for information for addressing people. Kind of like if you were going to write a letter, you would put this information as showing that you own that letter. So think about it like that. You're addressing the people that are reading the article or document that you're currently building. Once again, I appreciate you guys watching the tutorials with us. This will be the fifth or sixth article video, I can't even remember now, because I'm writing so many other different ones that are currently out there. Once again, if you have any comments, feel free to go ahead and leave those below the video, or for any questions, feel free to get and do that as well. Once again, this is Carlos from DevPro CB. I'm signing off.